I've worked in finance for a few years now, and I wish more people realize that it's not hard for you or me to make money or become rich because we're bad with money. But it's hard because the whole entire system is designed to keep you where you are. The financial industry, millionaires, billionaires, they all profit from your confusion. So in this video, I want to honestly share the 5 ways in which your own psychology is being used against you, and how understanding these 5 things can help you change how you play the game. You are not the customer, you are the product. One thing I really need you guys to understand is that banks, lenders, massive companies, they don't make their real money by helping you, but they make their real money from your mistakes. Every time you miss a payment, every time you don't fully understand the rules, they profit. And that's why financial education isn't taught in school. It's not because it's hard. They could teach it like any other subject, but it's because confusion is profitable. It's so profitable because people who understand finance, they avoid costly mistakes. They question their spending. They resist traps like scarcity marketing that pushes most people to overspend. So you see here, financially literate people are far harder to manipulate. And that's why they're so bad for business. But the key thing to remember here is that the system can only work against you if you are unaware of how it actually works. But once you understand the rules, then you can actually play the game properly and get ahead. Even by watching this video or some other videos on money and finance, you are already taking those first few steps. So give yourself some credit, as direction is the most important thing. The great illusion of wealth. There is something really, really dangerous happening on the internet right now. If you are watching this video, you have probably seen some other videos on personal finance or how to make money or anything about finance. Where the problem with this niche in particular is that there are a lot of people who are on the internet saying that they are making massive amounts of money and making all of that money quite easily when it's not actually the truth. I'm a very nosy person, and I'm also someone who's quite discerning, so I've dug into some of these online success stories or these people who are making loads of money, and a lot of it isn't actually what it seems. People are dressing up revenue as profit, which are 2 completely different things, by the way. People are lying about being self-made when they aren't. People are flaunting luxury lifestyles, but are doing the most insane things to maintain that lifestyle. People are selling you bad courses on how to get rich and getting rich from that course itself when they've actually never even made money from anything else. And I'm saying this because as someone who works in banking and I understands money quite well, I can often spot when something just isn't right, when someone's kind of lying. But most people who are consuming this content can't. They believe the lies that they're being told. And as a result, they end up getting exploited. They end up buying these bad courses. They end up feeling envious of people who are apparently living luxury lifestyles. So that's why for all of us, I think we need to start thinking critically about what we are consuming. Don't believe everything you hear online, as wealth is built consistently over time, over months, over years, over decades. There rarely are shortcuts to getting there. They want you to trade your time for money. As you guys have seen, I've worked in banking for almost 5 years now, and I think it's an excellent career. But I don't want my 9 to 5 to be my only source of income for the rest of my life. I know that would be a very silly move. And it's not because I hate my job or I hate my career, but it's because I understood very, very early on that we have been taught to trade our time for money for the rest of our lives until we retire. But that trade alone won't get any of us to financial freedom anytime soon, and I don't want to have to wait until I retire to feel a level of financial freedom. And that's the trap so many of us kind of fall into, as we've been taught that we should trade our time for money, that that's the only thing that we should be doing, but time is limited. You cannot work 25 hours in a day. So if you are constantly trading your time for money, your income and your earning potential will always be limited. But what most people don't know is that the secret to building wealth isn't through trading your time for money, but it's through something we call leverage. Where I want you to think of making money like trying to lift a really big rock. Most people will just try to like lift it with their hands or with their effort and just keep trying that until something happens. But leverage is when you stop trying to push harder or pull harder, but instead you go to the bush and you go and get a long stick and you put that stick under the rock and then you push it up. That is exactly what leverage is. The same strength, the same effort, but a completely different outcome. And that's exactly how money works. Leverage is a very kind of abstract term, but there are kind of so many different applications of it. For example, business owners use people as leverage, as they have teams that can multiply their efforts. An investor uses money as leverage, as they know that they can use their money to make money while they are sleeping. Even by making this YouTube video right now, I am building a form of leverage, because once I click stop and I upload it onto YouTube, this video will continue to teach people and help people and potentially make money long into the future, and I don't have to do anything about it. That's another form of leverage. And once again, I know people always mention leverage, and for the average person it might be a bit confusing because it is an abstract concept, but it's so important for you to kind of understand conceptually, because people who don't come from rich families like myself, we never get taught this. All we get taught is to just really study hard and get like a really good high paying career, but it's much harder to get financial freedom through just following that path. We have been sold the wrong definition of rich. I have a question for you. What does being rich actually mean to you? And I actually want you to think about it. What does it mean to you? Does it mean having a fancy car? Does it mean having a fancy house? Does it mean going on first class flights? What does being rich mean? Because I can guarantee you, for most of us, especially if you don't come from like a rich family, the definition of rich that we grew up with was never really about freedom. It was about how things looked, what you owned, what everyone else could see. But the irony here is that the more that you kind of chase that version of being rich, that version of being rich where you have loads of visible things that make you look rich, the further you get away from true wealth. As when you chase that version of being rich that is flashy, you end up doing every single thing that stops you from actually accumulating real wealth. And the sad thing is that you're basically just putting on a performance. You're putting on a show for everyone else. But for example, a good example, look at Mike Tyson. I hope he doesn't beat me up after this video. But at the peak of his career, he earned over 40 million US dollars. That's a lot of money, isn't it? But then he went bankrupt and he got into debt. And that was simply because he was optimizing to look rich. He wasn't optimizing to actually be rich. And that's why we really have to redefine what being rich actually means. As being rich isn't just about the money that you earn, but it's about the money that you get to keep. It's about the investments that you have. It's about the assets that you buy and accumulate. It's about the options that you have and the ability to say no. That is what being rich actually is. It isn't about having fancy Gucci shoes or looking flashy. And the sooner you understand this, the sooner you can start making the right decisions to help you actually get to that point. Knowing isn't enough. Your emotions are the real enemy. I made a TikTok about this recently. Guys, go follow me on TikTok. I've actually grown quite a lot recently. But what I was saying in that TikTok is that a lot of us kind of think that our financial decisions are rational. But we often forget two really important things. The first thing that we forget is that most financial decisions are emotional decisions. And the second thing we forget is that knowledge is not the same as behavior. It's not. You can know something and still not act on it or act in accordance to it. As most people know they should save, most people know that they should invest, most people know that they shouldn't just panic sell their investments if something has kind of gone wrong. But people still do it anyways because we are humans. We are very emotional beings. And a lot of the time, emotion will beat logic. That's just how it is. Where in psychology, they actually have a term for this. They call it the intention-action gap. It's the gap between what we know we should be doing and what we actually end up doing. And that gap is exactly why most people never build wealth and never will build wealth. And I'm saying this from personal experience. As I studied finance for 4 years, I've worked in banking for almost 5 years. But for a lot of like my initial journey, I really struggled to actually put what I knew into action. I was still making bad financial decisions. So always remember that the most powerful financial tool that you will ever have, it's not your money, it's not your investments, it's not your assets, but it's your emotions. As self-awareness and emotional regulation are the foundation for making good financial decisions. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you found it valuable. If you would like more videos like this, make sure you comment down below, because we are going to get our money up, not our funny up.